All right, good afternoon, guys. Hello. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hear you.
Okay. Please, if my line is breaking, just let me know. All right. So where did we stop yesterday? All right, let's go. Where did we stop yesterday?
Stopped at building the profits.
Okay, so I think we gave something that you have to build your own sales report, right? So who have done his own?
I've done mine.
Can you share, please? All right, share your screen. Let's stop sharing. All right, beautiful. That's it. You see, how long did it take you to build this?
Just a couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes, isn't it?
Yes.
If you have done the same thing in Excel, you would have seen that it will take you some bit of time, isn't it? In Excel. Okay. But with Power BI, it's just straightforward. On the condition that your data is what? Clean. Okay. Thank you very much. So when you are building your report like this, right? Remember, at the end of the day, you need to present this, right? You need to present this. That's why one skill again you need to learn as a data analysis, data storytelling. Data storytelling. Okay. So when you are presenting this now, so where are you starting from? If you are presenting this now to the management now, where are you starting from?
Well, I probably start from the total sales.
Beautiful. You start from all the total sales. But now, the way you are presented, does this tell us that total sales is the most important thing
here? No.
Not necessarily, isn't it? So that's why you must also think about it. So while you are presenting your report, you must also think about when you presenting it, what are the key things I need to highlight? So for example, this 2.3 billion sales, is it good or bad? Is it good or bad for the business?
It depends on what you're comparing with.
Beautiful. So for example, if it is, you have seen that there was an increase, right? So you can put it in what? Green color, a green font. But if it was a drop, you put it in what? Red, and start from there. Can you see that? So that is the essence of this, your cards. Then you start building it from there. Then start telling the stories going forward. All right, thank you very much. Did another person try? Damilola, did you try your own?
No, I didn't.
You did not. Yes, wait again. Is that James?
Yes.
Okay. Ahmed.
No, I didn't.
You did it. Okay. All right. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. All right, so we see with Power BI, right? Remember, as data analysts, what do? We need to what? Connect the data. We extract the data, isn't it, from the particular source. And where is the data stored? Where is the data normally stored?
Excel.
Excel. It can be in an Excel, but in most organizations, where is the data stored?
In the database.
In the database, isn't it? So just the same way, if the data is in Excel, like that our Superstore data is in Excel, we import it from Excel. But for example, the project I gave you guys on SQL, what project is that? Is that vanilla manufacturing, right?
Yes.
But that database, vanilla manufacturing, right? So if I was to connect to that database, right? What database are we using? What DBMS are we using? Which DBMS are we using?
SQL Server.
Which one?
SQL Server.
Yes, they were. So that vanilla manufacturing was SQL Server. Was it for SQL Server? We had used what? MySQL, isn't it? So either I use MySQL or use the SQL Server. Can you see you have the different SQL database? Can you see them? So this is how you now classify them, either in the folder, your Excel files, your database. So all your database you can think about. Okay. Can you see your Power Platforms, Azure, cloud-based, online services? Can you see that? Online services. Can you see even QuickBooks? So when you see QuickBooks better, it means they are still trying it out. So those who are accountants. Okay. But I think for enterprise version, I think it should work. It should work for enterprise version. Anyways, then other sources. Other word sources. For those who are using SAP and the rest. Okay. I think that should come here. Your SAP should be somewhere. If you go through, you should let me type if you're not sure, type SAP. Let me see. Can you see it here? SAP. Okay, so yes, you can connect it. But again, what you need to also understand that this is Microsoft, right? It's just like taking maybe your car is faulty, right? And you are driving a Toyota, but the part that is available is a Benz. And you say, we need to go and import it. You know how some mechanics, they say, no, don't worry, now we'll go work out. So somehow they will look for that part and convert it to fit in that Toyota. Okay, so sometimes what we need is called what? A connector. So that means if the database we are using is Oracle and what we are using is what? Microsoft. To connect them together, we need what they call what? A connector. Okay, so if you go to your, do you remember when you were installing your Microsoft SQL Server? You will notice that there was a connector you were downloading then. Do you remember? You see connector, you see Python, you see Power BI, you see Java, you see the different connectors there. Okay, so it means you must have already installed that connector. Okay, so you need that connector. But if I was to pick the data, so let me share my screen. Let me share my SQL screen with you. So this is my SQL, right? Can you see my SQL now? Can you see my SQL?
Yes.
Good. My username, what is my username? What is my username?
Root.
Roots. Even your own case, username is what? Roots. Now, what is the server name? What is the server name?
Localhost 3306.
Localhost. Isn't it localhost? Because this is on this computer, that's why it's called localhost. Or they can give you an IP, or you have an IP address. What's your default IP address? You should have maybe like 127.0.0.1. I think something like that now, right? So that's what you need to understand, how you connect. If you have a password, make sure you don't forget that password. Or without that password, you're not able to connect. So let's say, for example, So if I want to see my databases, how will I check all my databases? How do I check all the databases?
Show database.
Show what databases? Show databases. I hope you have not forgotten this. So, okay. So I've seen the database I need. Which database do I need? What is your database I need? That is vanity, is it not? Vanity manufacturing. So what do I type? Use what? Vanity manufacturing, right? So what's the next thing I will do? What is the next thing?
You show tables.
Show what tables? Beautiful. Show what tables? Okay. Now I have seen the tables. Can you see the tables now? So let's say, for example, which table do you want to see now? Which table do you want to see now?
Customers.
So you want to see your customers. So what? So if I want to see my customer table, what do I do?
You select from
Select
customers, or select all from customers.
From customers. Can you see that? So this is my customer name, and this is it. Good. What again do you want to see this table? Which other table do you want to see? What other table do you want to see?
Employees.
Employees. Okay. So if I say select staff from employees. Okay. So what do you want to look for in the employees? All right. Is there any connection between employees and customer table? Is there any connection between employees and customer table? This employee number, last name, first name. Okay, so let's run customers now and check. Any relationship? Is there any relationship?
I can't see any.
You can't see any. Look at it again. What is the primary key in employee table?
Employee number.
Employee number. Good. Let's come to customer table. What is the primary key in customer table?
Customer number.
Customer number. Can you see any other field relating to employee number, employee table?
No.
Yeah, sales rep.
Okay, sales rep, is it not? So which means I can connect my employee table with my what? Customer table. So for example, I want to find out which employee, is it not, brought in the most customer. Is that not true? Is that not possible?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So that means I can connect both now, isn't it? Or alternatively, if I look at it again, let's look at in terms of the orders. So let's see orders. Let's look at orders. Orders, right? So let's look at orders. Okay, no enough details there. Let's go to orders details. Okay, order details. Let's run that and check. Okay, for example, this one you have your price. This is the quantity order, isn't it? All right, good. Can we connect this with customer? Is there any relationship with customer? Is there any relationship with the customer? Any relationship with the customer table?
Customer name.
Customer name. Did you see customer name there? Was there customer name here?
Okay, no.
No. Okay, good. Now, remember the last exercise we did in SQL, right? Where we try to pick the different. So let's look at another one. Which other table again can we link it with? So let's look at orders. So I want to look at orders. Orders table. So we have order number, we have customer number. So can we see now we can connect these three tables together? Can we see we can connect these three tables together? The customer, the orders, and order details. Can we see how we can connect them together? Can we?
Yes.
All right, so let's look at it. So how do we connect them? So imagine I want to combine how many tables together? How many tables am I bringing together?
3 tables.
3 tables, isn't it? So let's look at it. So what's the syntax? Select. Okay, let's select everything from here. Let's collect everything from here. So select what? Start from where? Customers, isn't it? Customers and which table will join together? Customers and which table will join together? This is orders, right? Customer number and what? Customers. Can we join them together?
Yes.
Yes.
So how do we join it? So select start from customers. Yes. What do I now do next?
Join.
Inner, exactly, that join or inner join. Okay, let's join. Join what?
Other details.
Join, was it other details or others? Was it other details or others?
Okay, join others.
Join others, isn't it? Join what? Others. Join what? Others. Join it on what?
On customer number.
Or what? On what? On where what? Others dot what? Customer what? Number is equal to what? Customers dot what? Customers dot what? Customer number. Can you see that?
Okay.
Dot customer what? Customer. I hope we remember how to run this, right? So let's run this and check. Did it work? Did it work? So I've joined
Yes.
everything together now. It has worked now, right?
Yes.
Now I want to
Yes.
join the last table now. The last table is what? The last table is what? Other details now, isn't it? So what do? I'll say join what? Join what? Other what? Details. Join it on what? Join it on what? Join it on what? Is it
Other
not?
details dot, yeah.
Other.
Yeah. Yes. So we are joining it on what are we joining it on?
On other.
On what?
Others.
Other number.
Order number. Yeah. So it will be orders dot what? Order
number.
number. Is it not? Is equal to what? Order details. Is it not? Dot what?
Other number.
Order details dot what? Order what? Number. Isn't it? Dot what? Order what? Number. Number or number. So confirm. So did this work? Has this worked now?
Yes.
Good. So what have we done now? We went into the database, is it not? To pick what? To join the 3 tables that we need together, isn't it? Now, this same thing I have done here, I want to do the same thing inside Power BI. What is the name of this database? What's the name of this database? This is the database now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I can also call it the full name, is it not? So I can say valid dot. Can you see that? I can call it valid dot customers. You understand this one, right?
Yes.
So if I run this, can you see it will still work? Can you see that? It will still work. So let me copy this syntax out. So let's go back to our what? Power BI. So let's go back to our what? Power BI. So what we learned yesterday, we learned how to import data from where? Excel, isn't it? So let's see how to connect to a database. So if I come here, get data, which database am I working with?
MySQL.
MySQL, isn't it? So you are sure where the database is MySQL. If you are using Microsoft SQL, I go to database. So I'll see MySQL. Can you see MySQL database? Can you see there?
Yes.
Good. So connect. Connect. What is the server name?
Roots.
What is the server name?
Roots.
Was it root? What is the server name?
Okay. Localhost.
Localhost, exactly, because it is on this system. That's why it's localhost. Localhost. What is the database? So that's your syntax. You see that your syntax. This is where you type it here. This is where you type your syntax. The database name is what? Vanning what? Manufacturing. Can you see that? So you know in MySQL, you know what we have done? When we connected to the database, the next thing we now say, you say use what? Vanning what? Man, that's what you are doing here. So now I have specified this is the database. Now this is the syntax. So let's say okay. Can you see we have connected to it now? Can you see that?
So without the syntax, you can't call up the database.
Now, if I don't call up the syntax now, for example, if I don't want a specific, so let's go back there. So let me show you now. So let's go back to where? More. Let's go to more. All right, so let's go to database, connect, right? Connect. Now, server name, so for example, if in your own organization, it may not be localhost because you are not using the server itself, but they may give you an IP. For example, my own IP will be, even your own default IP will be 120. You know, they have IP like this, something like this. So they'll give you an IP to connect to. What is the database name? I think that is Vandy Manufacturing, right?
Yes.
This is it, isn't it? So click what? Okay. Can you see now it has connected to the database? So I can now pick the tables. Can you see that now? So I can now pick the tables. But with your skill in SQL, I don't need to go and select all these tables. What do I need to do? I will bring all of them together in the syntax. You see why your skill with SQL is very important. So I don't need to do this now. I don't need to start selecting them one by one. I will just, because sometimes the data may be so large. The data may be so large that you cannot take everything. So you need to select specific columns, what you need. So that is why we run that syntax. That's why we now run the syntax there. It is based on that syntax that we have run. Then we have now come into our Power BI. Come into your what? More. More. Yes, database, my SQL database. Okay. What is the server name? Either I use localhost or use the IP. Okay. What is the database name? So let me paste this. This Vandy what manufacturing. So imagine now we can connect maybe like 4 or 5 tables, get different columns from 4 or 5 tables here, join them together as one. Instead of going to select each of the tables, then start cleaning them one by one. With this one, I can just call up the columns I need from each of the tables. Then click OK. Then to connect straight. So once you connect straight, then I just say, okay, transform data. Or I would have gone to load it if the data is clean. But remember, the data is never clean. So we are good to go. So can you see now where we have now connected from the database directly to Power BI? Are we clear with this now?
Yes, clear.
Clear? Good. Now imagine you are in another organization now, but they don't use MySQL. They use Microsoft SQL Server. So let's go back again. Assume it was Microsoft SQL Server. Okay. So let me compare to Microsoft SQL Server. For those of you who have already downloaded, what they call it, Microsoft SQL Server. How many of you have downloaded Microsoft SQL Server?
I did.
Okay, you did. Okay, that's good. Okay, good. Okay, let me share my screen. So if you have used, if it's an organization that you have connected to Microsoft SQL Server, you don't need a connector. It will just connect everything straight for you. It will just connect straight for you because it's Microsoft. It will be Microsoft, okay? All right, good. Now, if I am connected to, so let's say, for example, let me connect this for you. So let me open it again. So that you see when you open it, how it looks like. So when I click on Microsoft SQL Server, mine is opening up. So once it opens, I will share. All right, good. So let me share. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Now you see in my own case now, what is my server name? What is my server name?
Desktop.
So this one you are seeing as server name. You see, no, that's my server name. But you see, in your own case, they may not give you this. You may have your own authentication. They may give you your own username and password, right? That you used to enter. Okay, they may give. Why my SQL did not tell me? Because I've already entered it before. The username and password. So once it connects, you keep connecting directly. But subsequently, when you are entering it for the first time, if you ask you for your username and password, the username is what? Root. Then that's your password. So remember that your password. So this is my username. So I'm going to connect. So that is the server name. Okay. So let's say, for example, I want to check which database do I have here now. So if I want to check the databases here, how do I check databases here? Select what? Start from what? Information what? Schema dot what? Is it dot tables? So let's run that. Which other one do I have here? I'm looking for the one that we can use joins. Okay, let me check. So if I type select star from what? Sys dot databases. All right, let me run this and check. Okay, this one will give me, okay, not win. Can you see not win there? So let me type use not wins. Okay. So to check the tables inside not win, I'll type what? Select star from what? Information schema dot what tables. Beautiful. Can you see the tables now? Can you see the tables now? So imagine I want to now connect tables inside here. So let's go. So let's go back to Power BI now. So you understand what I want to do now? I want to pick maybe 2 tables and connect them. So rather than me going into the database, I will just be inside Power BI and connect it straight to that database. All right, so let me close and apply. So let's assume you close and apply. So let me go back, share my Power BI. Power BI. Can you see my Power BI screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So which means if I want to go and pick data from SQL Server, I can just come here and click it. Can you see that? What is the server name?
Desktop.
So let me copy all the syntax I will need. Desktop, right? Beautiful. So this is desktop, is it not? What is the server name? Let me see if I can paste. It's not allowing me paste. Okay, so if I type desktop what? Desktop what? 4A what? NE 9 what? 08 backslash SQL what? Express. Please confirm I don't make mistake. Not wins. Paste. Oh, you're supposed to paste it there, okay? Then whatever syntax I have there, so that means I want to join two tables. Which tables am I joining? Invoice table and what? Customer table, isn't it? So once I do that, what did he say? Use my current credentials to connect.
I'm sorry. What's the difference between the two connector modes I saw? Import and direct query.
Direct query. Okay. So that direct query, right? So sometimes when you are not using the password, okay, it can go through that this thing. But either way, it's the way your database is structured in terms of the database in the organization. Because you know some they will have more security features. Sorry, let me edit it back. So here you're talking about direct query, is it not?
Yes.
This direct query, right? It will just bring in now data. But can you see this import? This import means query it and bring it for me into what? Bring it for me inside what? Power Query. But this one just brings the data for you without importing. It will just show you the data without importing it. But just leave it as import. Okay, okay, so let's run that again. What did you say? Unspecified what? Okay, what I will do, let me go back there again. Close. So get data, SQL Server. Maybe I'll just copy it one by one. Let me copy it out. Copy. So let me come and paste it here. Otherwise, not letting me paste. Okay, it has pasted. What is database name? Not wind. The query. So if I paste the queries, let me copy the queries. So once I copy the query, but you can type whatever query you are typing, you can type it there and click OK. All right, can you see that it has connected now? Can you see that's connected now? And I can now say what? Transform data. So now I have connected what? From one, my SQL. Is it not? This is from what? My SQL. This is my SQL. This is what? SQL Server. Can you see that? So I've connected from different databases, isn't it? Now, the same way, I can also connect data from the web. So let's say, for example, let me stop sharing and let me share. So let's say, for example, COVID-19 data. Can you see your COVID-19 data? Can you see this COVID-19 data?
Yes.
This is from the NCDC website, right? So this is the table I want to pick. Can you see the table? States affected, number of cases. Can you see that? So I want to pick this table. So what I will do first, I will copy the URL. That is the website. Okay. So let's go back. Copy the website. So let's go back. So if I come here to get data, can you see web? Can you see web?
Yes.
So click on web. Can you see URL? What's the URL? I will paste it. Can you see that? So click OK. Click what? OK. Can you see navigator screen showing on my? Can you see navigator screen?
Yes.
All right, good. Good. So can you see table 1? Is this the table I want? Is this the table I want? Is this the table I wanted to get?
Yeah.
Yes. If I check table 2, is this the table? Did I want this table?
No.
No. So it's table 1 I want. So I'll just check it. Table 1, transform data. Can you see that? So it means I can pick data from what? Different what? Sources. So let's say this is web. Are you clear with this? Are we clear with this?
If you want to scrape data from any websites and use it on Python, is it the same process you go through?
Yeah. So if you are scraping data now, right? Now you see this is a form of scraping data, but not in an automated form. If you do that in Python, right? If you do that in Python, you can do that in Python. Okay. So if you were to do that in Python, if you come to your transform, can you see transform? Can you see transform there? Can you see your Python script? Can you see your Python script?
Yes.
So check Python script. Okay. So those your Python script you are writing your anaconda, you do it here. So once your Python is connected, you write all those your script you're writing your data notebook. This way exactly you are going to do it. Okay. But most times it's advisable check first of all, run it on Jupyter Notebook to be sure that it is working. Okay. Alternatively, what you can also do, if you scrape it in Python, let me close and apply. If you scrape it in Python, if you scrape the data in Python, right? That means you have gotten the data in Python, put it in pandas in the data frame. Does that make sense? If they say put the data in the data frame, does that make sense?
No. No.
You don't understand what a data frame is. When they say put the data in a data frame.
Okay, yes, we do.
What does that mean?
Put it in tables.
Yes, now put in what tables in what pandas, now, is it not?
Yes.
Good. So once your data is in pandas, so I can come here, but I think my own Python is not connected yet, so I will have to look for a way to connect it. But once your Python is already connected, right? If I come here to others, can you see others? Can you see others?
Yes.
Can you see Python scripts?
Yeah.
Can you see Python scripts? So you now say connect. What did I check? I know my own Python is not connected, so I will look for how to connect because I installed it before. So where I installed it now, I don't think it's CD directly. But for your own case, if I come here to Python script, so let's say connect. So do you see your Python script? So in your Python, what you have typed? You have typed import what? Pandas as what? PD, is it not? Import what? NumPy as what? NP. Is that not what you type? Is that not what you normally type? Then
Yeah,
I'll say df is equals to what? PD dot what? Reads. Maybe what's the name of the where you save it? It was a CSV file you have saved it.
Yeah.
Then I'll now say maybe let's say script data dot CSV. Can you see that? I hope this makes sense to you.
Yes.
Does this make sense?
it does.
Then you just click OK and you just connect straight to your Python. But my own case is not connected, so that's why it's giving me errors now. Okay, because I have to go and look for where so normally you come here to your file, options. Can you see options again? Your options. So can you see your Python scripting? So I have to go and look for where it is connected because I installed this 3.8, so it's no longer 3.8 anymore. So that's where it's giving me issues. Okay, but for your own case, it should connect automatically. It should connect automatically. But that's how to connect to Python, to your website, to your database. All right, so you now have your tables now. Can you see that? So this is my SQL data. This is my SQL Server data. This is my website data. But you know that in practice, 90% of the time, the data is never clean. Is it not true? The data is never what? Clean. So to clean it up, what do I do? So to clean this data now, what do we need to do?
Power query.
We go to Power Query, isn't it? We go to Power Query. So here, this is where I would have done my normal visual. This is where we would have done our visual, isn't it? So if I come to my Power, so for example, if I get my, what was that now? If I get, what do I want to calculate now? If I drag country by, let's say country by what now? Let me put it in table form. Country by quantity ordered. Can you see country by quantity ordered? Can you see that? Can you see that? So if I also put it in a form of a map, if I leave it in map form, so normally once it detects country, just pick the country. Can you see that? You pick the country. So that's your quantity ordered. I will take it and put it under my, okay, if I take it under legends. Can you see it under legend now? Do you see it?
Yeah.
This is under what? Legends. Okay, but if you are doing any calculation now, so just tell you the region you are covering. Okay, just show you the region you are covering. So you see the data we have in our database, we can now build what? A report based on that. But most times, the data is never clean. It's never clean. So before you even start all this dragging and dropping, it's assumed that this table is clean, the data is clean. Okay, but I can guarantee you 80 to 90% of the time, the data is never what? Clean. So in that case, what do we need to do? We have to go to what? Power Query. So if I want to go back to Power Query, what do I do? I'll click on transform what? Data. Transform data. Everybody, I hope we are following. Are we all following?
Yes, we're following.
Damilola, are you following? Damilola, are you following?
Yes, I am.
All right, good. So how do you know what is relevant and what is not relevant here? So at this point, your customer number, is it relevant?
Yes.
It's relevant. Why do you think it's relevant?
It's the primary key. It's the unique identifier.
Okay. So remember, at the point of when you are connecting the tables, when you're connecting the table, it was very important. But now you want to now build your dashboard. You want to build your dashboard now. Okay. This customer number, will it be important for you? Will it be important for you?
I think it
Will
will
this
only
be
be
important?
it will only be important when you're doing modeling.
When you are doing what? Modeling. Thank you very much. Because you must also always think about how is this data going to be connected to something. Okay. So let's continue. Customer name, will it be important?
Yes.
Customer name, will it be important?
Yes.
Okay. Contact last name, will it be important? Contact name, contact first name, will it be important?
No.
Yes, it can.
It can. Okay. Good. Can you see these two now? These are two columns, isn't it? Contact name, last name, first name. So do we need them? First name and last name, do we need them?
You can merge them.
You can merge them, isn't it? So if I was to merge them, so I can press my click on contact name, hold your shift button, first name, right click. Can you see merge columns? Can you see merge columns? So I'll just click, hold my shift button, click again. Right click. Can you see merge columns? So click on merge what columns. So how do you want to separate them? Space.
Space.
Okay. So I'll just say what? Contact name, and say okay. Contact name, okay. Can you see? Let's check contact name. This contact name now, is it not?
Wow.
This is a contact name now, is it not? So it has cleaned this one up, right? Phone number, do you need phone number?
No.
No. Now, do you see that when we imported this data, because we have used the select star. Select star means what?
Select everything.
Select everything. But do we need everything?
Apparently, no. We don't.
No, is it not? So that is why when you are doing that, your select, you will select the columns that you need. If you select the columns that you need, then you don't need to do this cleaning here. Can you see the difference now? If I have used the selected columns, it will save me the stress of cleaning here. Do you understand that? So, for example, phone number, I don't need it. This address, do I need this address?
No.
Do I need this address? So I can take this off. I don't want all this. So if I want to delete them, so if I click one, I'll hold my shift button, click on the last one, right click and what? Remove columns. Remove what? Columns. Did you get that?
Yes.
Good. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. So for example, states. Do I need the states?
No. State
Yes.
and postal code.
Yes.
States. I have the
Yes.
city. I have the city.
We have city,
No.
and most of the state is null.
And most of the state is what? No.
It's null. So we can do that.
So if I have state, I have city. Can I use one for the other? This one is more complete, isn't it?
Yes.
But if you want to use the analysis you want to bring out the number of sales made in each state.
In each state, good. Which means, what is the implication of that?
You just have to fix the null values.
You have to go and fix it now, right? You have to fix it, right? Say for sake of argument, we already have city, so we want to arrange it by city. So in this case now, state will be not necessary. Okay, so if you don't need states, to remove state, I just right click and what? Remove. But if state is important to you, that means you have to go and what? Fill that data. Look for the word states and put there. Okay. Postal code. Do I need postal code?
No.
Okay, I remove. Country. Do I need country?
Yeah, it's fine. Yes.
I can leave country. Okay. Sales rep number. Do I need sales rep number?
Yes.
Okay. What will I use it for? What will I use it for now? What will I use it for now? Sales rep employee number.
You can use it to create a relationship with another table.
With another table, isn't it? But for now, I don't think we're going to be connecting different tables.
Since this is the merge table, and
yes,
whatever we are doing here is to create an analysis.
So as at this point now, you are not necessarily connecting, unless maybe you have another data you want to connect somewhere again. Okay. So at this point now, we can take this guy off. I don't need this guy for now. Okay. Maybe credit limit is okay. Other number, do I need that? I don't think so. Date, do I need date? Do I need date? Do I need date? Other date, required date, ship date. Do I need date?
Yes.
Yeah, if we are going to be doing maybe something that's to do with a CRM to know how we have satisfied customers, and based on SLA, we can leave the order date and shipping dates. I mean, for maybe to rate performance of customer service.
Beautiful. Please take note as data analyst. You see dates. You see dates. Very important. Date is what? Very what? Important. Okay. In this case, this is date and time format. So if you look at here, you will see the format, the data type here. So this is pure dates. Can you see that? This is what? Pure dates. This is what? Pure what? Dates. But some that have date and time, you can separate them into dates, into time. Okay, date is very what? Important. All right, let's look at another one. Status. Do we need this status? Shipped, not shipped. Do we need it?
Yes.
Cancelled, resolved. Do we need it?
Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
Comments. Do we need comments?
I'll say no, given that I can see most of it is none, right?
But you have some comments here.
Oh, okay.
Now, but you see, what is important? What is important depends, is it not, on your what objective? For now, let us take that out. Let's take all these guys out. So if I want to take all the as many columns as possible, I'll just click one, hold my shift button, click the last one that I don't need, right click and what? Remove columns. Can you see that? Then let's say other number line. So let me remove. Okay. So if this is what I have now, can you see I have summarized my table now? I've cleaned it up. So I've removed all the columns I don't need. But if I had used SQL to select the specific columns I need, will I waste my time to be removing columns now? Will I waste my time to be removing the columns?
No.
No. So you see the essence of why when you are selecting your columns, you need to understand what is important to you. And how do you know what is important to you? It goes back to what? The problem. Based on the problem, there are certain questions you are asking, isn't it? It is based on those questions you'll be able to identify the variables you need. It is from there you now have to identify, okay, what data do I need to use? Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
Good. Now let us go to, so this is how normally you would have cleaned your data, right? But we'll still come back to data cleaning. But let me show you something else on the. Okay, since we have the data on the Superstore, let's use our Superstore data. Can you see now that big column now? I've reduced it like this. Can you see that? So, for example, if I come here, can you see my table now? So, if I don't need this one too, if I come here, I can say, okay, delete. I don't need this guy. Please take note, anything that happens here, it does not affect your original file, your database. It doesn't affect your what? Data or base. Okay. So for example, if I come here and say, okay, let me see the country. Let me put it in form of a table, right? So I can see the tables. Let me see. Okay, we have order date, we have price. Price and order, quantity order, what would that give us? Price and quantity order, what would that give us?
Sales.
Sales. So let me insert a new column and call it what? What can I call this now? You say sales, is it not? So sales is equals to what? Quantity, although we'll come to do this much later when we are doing DAX. So we have quantity ordered. Is that not quantity ordered? Times what? Price.
Price.
Of each. Is that not it? So I'll run that. Can you see that? Has it calculated for you now? So this is my sales. Do you know that this one you'd have done in your SQL? You know this thing we did here, you'd have done it in your SQL. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good. So you see, there are so many things that would have saved your time if you have done it in the SQL. By selecting the relevant columns, by doing some certain calculations in SQL, then bring it here straight. Then to save you time. The only thing you now need here, maybe just switch the data type, or you can put maybe currency. You can switch currency to Naira. So once I switch currency, let's say I come here. This is the currency. Now I click the drop down. So I will search for Naira. If I want dollar, I can put dollar there or pound. But if any currency that you want, you can come and search for it. So can you see Naira here? So I can switch that to Naira. Can I see Naira there? Or I can just come here and switch it to dollar. Good. Are we clear with this now?
Yes.
So if I have come here now, so let me take my sales. Let me take my word, sales. So you see that, maybe I will have to now format it. So if I want to format that cell, so what do I do? Can you see your comma separator? So I'll just come, just like in Excel now. I want how many decimal places? Maybe 2 decimal places, right? 2 decimal places. So that's it, 2 decimal places. So if my question is, what are the top 10 sales by country? My top 10 sales by country. So what do I do? Top 10 sales by country. What do I do?
Filter by top N.
Yeah?
Filter by top N.
Filter by what? Top 10. Beautiful. So what do I do? I'll come here to country, right? Can you see basic filtering? What do? I'll switch it to where? Top N. So I can switch it to what? Top what? 10. By which value? By which value?
Sales.
By sales.
I'll drag sales here and apply. And that's it. So now, which country are we making the most sales?
The US.
United States.
The US. So this is different ways you'd have been asking the questions, is it not? You asking the questions, identify the variables, then you go and pick it from where? You go to what? The database and what? Pick the what? Variables that you. Okay. Now let me quickly show you something else. I hope we are clear with this, right? I hope we are clear with this. We'll still come back to data clean, but I want to show you sometimes when you need to what? Do your connection, your data modeling. Let me show you how you need, sometimes when you need to do your data what modeling. So let me stop share. You have your Superstore data. Do we have our Superstore data?
Yes.
So I think let us use our Superstore data and let's work with that. Since that is a table that most of us, we all have the same data, right? I think it was data normalization I used. Was it data normalization I used to explain that time? Data normalization. Let me check. Data normalization. Okay. Data normalization. So let me open it in Excel first. All right, let's come back here. Good. So this is the table we have, right? So remember how we have broken this table into smaller bits. Do you remember when we had to group the tables? Do you remember this? When we group them into customer table, orders
Yes.
table, sales
Yes.
order, isn't it?
Yes.
Good. So somehow we can also break these tables. And again, we also mentioned that you have to understand that what kind of relationship are you looking for? What kind of relationship are you looking for?
One to many.
Either one to many or what? Many to what? One. This is what you are looking for. Okay? Which means your data, you can break them into two parts. You have the qualitative, you have the quantitative, isn't it? Is that not correct? You have the qualitative, you have the quantitative. Alternatively, you can look at it as in terms of the dimension table and look at it in terms of the fact table. So which is your dimension table and which is your fact table? Which is a dimension table and which is a fact table? So we have order, sales order, product, customers, location. So which is a fact table and which is a dimension table?
The sales is fact table.
Sales is what?
Fact table.
Fact table. Why what?
The product, the customers, and everything is
beautiful. So this is your product, your customers, your location. They are called what? They are called what? Dimension what table. Isn't it? They are called what? The dimension what table. So that is why when we are trying to group them, we group them like this. This is customer table. This customer ID, customer name segments. This is what? Geography table, is it not? Country, city, state, city code, region. Product is what? Product key, category, subcategory, product name. These are what? Our dimension what table. This is our what? Fact what table. You know there must be something connecting these two tables together. Is it not? What differentiates this fact table from this dimension table? What's the major difference between both of them? What is the major difference between this your
fact table and numerical?
Fact table are what? Numerical. Okay. Yes. What is it? Yes.
Fact table, primary key appears once.
Primary key appears once. Aha. Is there any other place that primary key appears twice?
The foreign key on the other tables can appear more than once.
Okay. The foreign key appears more than. Is it the foreign key you are talking about? Is it foreign key?
The point I'm making is on the dimension table. You can have you can buy more than the product like so many times.
Yeah, so it can only appear one. Each record, is it not? Can only appear once. Is that not correct? Each record can only appear once. That means I can only have one unique customer here. Only one Francis in my customer table. But in my fact table, I can have Francis can buy 10 times. Is that not true?
Yeah.
All right, good. So why is it important you must understand this? Because sometimes we have very huge tables that you need to break down. But this thing most times must have been done in your SQL. If you have done a proper database, then you have done, this one would have been taken care of in your database. But sometimes you find yourself not working in database, but having the data in Excel. Isn't it? Or get the data from a CSV file, Excel file, but not in a very structured format. So they will give you what they call a flat file. So what I want to show us, how can we now break a full table and try and build what? A model out of it. So that's what we are going to do now. Okay? So the objective here is to ensure that we have what? A one-to-many relationship. All right. So are we ready now? Are we ready? So let me close my let me close that file. So let me open my Power BI again. Let me look for my Superstore. I have Superstore. All right, so let's go. So let's share it. All right, let's check. I think it's Excel, Superstore. So Superstore. All right, so which of them are we going for?
First one.
Exactly. So we'll take this one. So what's the next thing you're going to do? What's the next thing? Transform data. Transform what? Data. Transform what? Data. So watch now. Can you see this is your table now, isn't it? This is the entire data now, is it not? So what I'm going to do, I am going to replicate this. Can you see that? This is Superstore. So I'll right click, duplicate, right click, duplicate, right click and what? Duplicate. So that means one table is called what? Let's say customers table. And that table will be called what? Products table, is it not? And that table will be called what? Maybe the location table. And that table will be called what? The orders table. Isn't it? We know that this customers table, right? Customers table. What do we have inside customers table? What do we have inside customers table?
The customer name.
Customer name, yes. Customer name, yes. What again? So can you see that? Customer name, customer ID, customer name, maybe segments. Right? So it means all the other ones, we don't need them. Correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
So I'll take this, hold my shift button, select this. So if this is the only three that I need, so what do? I will right click and say what? Remove other columns. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now please take notes. Power Query is not like Excel. There's nothing like Control Z. So if I have made a mistake, what do? I'll come to this apply steps. Can you see this? Can you see this delete? Do you see this one? Remove
Yes.
other columns. Can you see I will delete it. It will come back to my original data. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Another way again of doing it is, for example, I'll say choose columns, right? Choose columns. So I will check all of them. Which ones do I need? I need customer ID, customer name, and segment. And click what? Okay. Can you see that? Did you understand this now? Is it clear? Is this clear?
Yes, it is.
Good. Now remember, this your customer table is it a fact table or a dimension table?
Dimension.
Is a dimension. In a dimension table, can any record be repeated?
No.
Because it has to be one, is it not? So what do we now do? Do you notice there are some customers that are repeated there?
Remove duplicates.
You remove what? Duplicates. Everybody, are we clear with this? So I can right click. Can you see where? Remove duplicates. Can you see remove duplicates here? Remove what? Duplicates. And we are set. Can you see that?
Sorry, Mr. Francis, can you repeat this step, please?
Okay, what? All right.
Thank you.
So I have removed the columns I need, is it not? So I noticed that there are some records that are what? Duplicated. Some customers are duplicated. Isn't it? So what do I want to do? I want to remove, because I can identify them by what? Their ID. Isn't it? So I just right click on the ID. Come down. Can you see remove duplicates? Can you see remove duplicates there?
Yes.
I'll remove duplicates and it will clean it up and remove all duplicates.
Okay.
So this guy is ready. Is that not true? So this guy is clean now. So there should be no more duplicates here. No duplicates here. All right, can we go to the next one now? Can we go to the next one now?
Yes.
All right, products. Now, what do we need to see in products? What columns are important in products? So I'll go to choose columns. I will remove all the other columns. So which one is important for me to pick for my product?
Product name.
So I can pick, let's say, product ID. Where's product name? Category, subcategory, product name. All right, good. So click on what? Okay. Now my product ID, can it be duplicated?
Yes.
Can it be duplicated?
Yeah.
Your product ID.
No, it can't be duplicated. I thought you meant it.
So it means you must have your unique what product, is it not? Unique what product, either the product ID or the product name. If I want to move, I can move it here. I move them around. Okay. So it means I have to what? Remove what? Remove what? Duplicates. Remove what? Duplicates. So I've removed all what? Duplicates. Now, let me ask, what is the unique identifier here in this table?
Product ID.
Product what? ID.
Product ID.
Product ID. Now, let me now ask, if, for example, I say furniture, can you see this one? This is deluxe fabrics or postal sacking chair, right? They are in the same category. Do they have the same ID? Do they have the same ID?
No.
Okay. But if for his example, this ID, this product name, right? Maybe because of the different categories, there are some that are repeated. That means you cannot easily, you cannot uniquely identify a particular column. So what do you now do in that case? What can you do in that case? When you cannot uniquely identify it, what do you now do? I think we explained it when we were doing data normalization. Where we cannot uniquely identify the particular column. So what do we now do?
Well, you match the two
Exactly.
columns.
So remember that they can be called what candidate keys, is it not? Either I use this one, this is called a candidate key. But when I now merge them together, what is it now called? When I merge them together, what is it now called? When I merge these two to now give me a unique one that there's no two way that two can have the same name, what do we now call that? If I now merge these two, what will I now call it?
The composite key.
It's called what? Composite key, exactly. It's called what? A composite key. I hope you are clear with that. Clear? Is this clear?
Yes.
All right, good. You know, we are doing it theoretically before. Now we are doing it practically. Now let's look at this. This is location. For location, what do I need? What are the columns I need for location?
City, state.
So I need city, I need state, I need
country.
postal code. Okay, I need country. Yes, what again?
Region.
I need region. Good. Good. What is the unique identifier?
Postal code.
Okay. Is postal code always a unique identifier?
No.
So sometimes where you are not sure, right? Where you are not sure, because sometimes you may have a postal code that two cities can use the same postal code. Is that possible? Is it possible?
Not really, but two address can use one postal code.
But two address can use one postal code, isn't it?
Yes.
So in that case, your postal code will no longer become what? A unique identifier. So what can you do in that case? What can you do in that case?
You merge.
You can merge. You know, so what will I now merge? Which will I now merge? Which two columns am I going to merge now?
Maybe city and postal code.
Good. So I'll merge what? The city, and let me drag this one close by. So city and what? Postal code. So if I want to merge, what do? I'll click one, hold my shift button, click the second one, right? Click one, hold my shift button, click the second one. So what do I do next? Right click and what? Look for what? Merge columns. Can you see merge columns there? Are you there? Merge columns. All
Yes.
right. So how am I going to separate them? Is there any separator?
Yes.
Maybe I can use a space there. What should be the name? Let me call it what? Let's say city what? Let's say city key. Or city what? City code.
City code.
Okay, city code. Good. City code. Click OK. So I've merged them there. Can they have duplicates?
No.
No. So what do? I will remove what? Duplicates. Can you see that now your table is now changing shape now? So we have done for product, we have done locations, we have done customer. So let's come to the last one, orders. So on my orders table, what do I have on my orders table? I can have my order ID, my order date, my ship date, ship mode. Is it not? I can have my sales, quantity, discount, and profits. Now remember that while you are looking at your orders table, your orders table, is it a fact table or a dimension table?
Fact table.
Is a fact table. Can it have duplicates?
Yes.
Can it have duplicates? Yes, because that's my transaction, isn't it? Yeah. Which means some customers, I will need to link this table with my customer table. So how will I link my orders table with my customers table?
The primary key.
Yes, and what's the which primary key?
Customer ID.
Customer what? ID. So for this one, I will use what? Customer ID. Good. In my products table, how will I link products table with?
Product
how will
ID.
I link products table with?
Product
orders
ID.
table. Product ID. Good. For my location table, how will I link location table with orders table?
City code.
City code. Just city code. Did you remember that you merged both city code and postal code?
Okay.
Do you get? Because it will not make sense now. That one is.
So the merged column cannot
New York.
come
Another
together.
one is New York 100.
The merged column cannot come together as well.
Yeah, so that means I have to take these two columns together and merge it here too. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So these are the columns I will now need. Okay, click what? Okay, good. So I will now have to merge what? City and what? Code together. Is it not? So I'll click on city, hold my shift button, click on what? Postal code. What's the next thing I will do? What's the next thing?
Right click.
Right click and do what?
Merge.
Merge columns. Okay. So how am I separating them?
Space.
Space. Good. What's the column name?
City code.
City what? Code. Good. Can this table have duplicates?
Yes.
Can this table have duplicates?
Yes.
Yes. And we are good to go. So that's your big fact table, right? We have now broken them down into different. And this is exactly what you do in your SQL. This is exactly what you do in your SQL, because you are going to break them and keep them as different databases. Did you remember in our vanity manufacturing how we have many tables in one database?
Yes.
Good. All right, so let's go. So close and what? Apply. Close and what? Apply. Take note, nothing is affected in your original file. All right, good. Now I have brought them. Can you see now I have 4 tables now? So let's look at it. I have segments.
I'm sorry, Mr. Francis.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed you've just switched interface from the Power Query to the Power BI desktop.
I did switch. I click close and apply. Then you start loading. You just notice it was loading something. Then now loaded it straight. Then now take you to Power BI.
Okay, but which of the icons there do you click to go on the?
So look at, if I want to, for example, if I want to go from Power BI to Power Query, I'll click transform data.
Okay.
Okay. Once I am done, can you see close and apply? Close and apply will take me from Power Query to Power BI.
Okay.
So the moment you have brought in your data, the next thing you are going to check, this is your data now, isn't it? This is your data, isn't it? So if I click this next one, that is my data, that is my data, that is my data. The next thing you need to check whether the model is connected. So is there a connection? Is there a connection? Now take note, can you see that it automatically connected for you?
Yes.
You know why? You know why it connected for you automatically? Because your data is already, yes, they're already talking to themselves already. So this is called what? What is this called?
Cardinality.
Eh?
Cardinality.
This structure we have put is called what?
Okay, modeling.
Yes, this is your data model. What again do we call it? This is your data modeling, yes. What is this called?
Relationships.
Yes. What kind of relationship?
One to many.
One to many. It is that one to many relationship that you technically call your cardinality. Okay. And this is also called what? A star what? Schema. This is called what? A star schema. Remember when we started with SQL now? When we were doing data normalization, when we showed you star schema. Do you remember it?
Yes.
So this is your star what? Schema. So for example, if I click on this, can you see this one is telling me it's what? One to what? But it's going from here to here. Okay. So sometimes you right click and say properties. Can you see properties? Can you see properties?
Yeah.
Now, do you see what say cardinality? Do you see cardinality there? Can you see them? So this is the one we want to see. Many to one. Can you see single? So if I put both ways, it means it can do it both sides. I can filter from here to here or here to here. Okay? But just leave it as single for now. So this is your what? Data what? Model. Please, are we clear with this? Are we clear on how to build a data model?
Yes, it's clear.
Yes. So the moment you see two tables, the first thing that should come to your mind is what? When you see two tables, what is the first thing that should come to your mind?
Relationship.
How exactly, how are those two tables what related? Because the moment I cannot connect those two tables together, there's no relationship. Just look at this, for example. If for example, I delete, let me delete this. So I've deleted customers and others. So that means what? There's no relationship. Can you see that? Can you see there's no relationship now?
Yeah.
Good. But there's relationship between others and products. Location and others, isn't it? So let's go. So let's check. So look at it. We have others and products, isn't it? Others and products. So for example, I want to see category by what? By sales. Do I have a relationship between them? Category and sales. Do I have a relationship? Is there a relationship between category and sales?
Yes.
Yes. So if your answer is yes, so let me go. Category. So let me take my category, drop it here. Let me go to my others table. Let me pick sales, drop it here. Did it work? Yes, and I can plot a visual here. Straightforward. I think this is straightforward now.
Yes.
Good. Now let's check the other one. Is there a relationship? So very now,
Mr. Francis, is it possible to create a relationship between two dimension table?
Between two dimension table.
Yeah.
We are coming now. We'll answer that very soon. We'll answer that very soon. Now let's look at this now. I want to look at the relationship between segment and what? Sales. So segments, and what? Sales. Can you see that? What do you notice that happened here? What do you notice that has happened?
Maybe total sales.
It gave you the total sales here. Is that all? What did you notice?
The sales that we have for consumer is the same as corporate, is the same as home office, and is the same as the total.
Is that correct? Is that correct?
It's no.
No.
That is why anytime you see that is repeating the same values all through, what is the first thing you should suspect?
No connection, no relationship.
No relationship. So I have to go back. Can you see that? So I have to now check, okay, that means there's no relationship between this guy and this guy. I will now look through the fields. Do they have any relationship? Okay, I have seen something. What's connecting both of them?
Customer ID.
So I will just drag customer ID to what? Customer ID. Did you establish a connection now?
Just like that.
Yes. So if the answer is yes, so let's go back. Did he calculate it now for me?
Correctly, yes.
Yes. So that is how you know whether there's a relationship or not. So the moment is one number all true, you know there's a problem. Now, the next question that you asked. So, for example, is there any relationship between customers and products? Or customers and location? Is there any relationship? If, for example, now, this customers has maybe like a city code or product something. So you can just drag and come and drop. Can you see that? But you see in this case, can you see that dotted line? Can you see that dotted line? Do you see that dotted line here?
Yes.
Say, I don't know what you are doing, no. But if you say you want relationship, I will give it to you. But I don't know what you are saying. Can you see that? But normally, if there's sometimes, look at it. The way, let me show you something now. Let's delete this. So I just right click and we'll delete, right? Yes. So for example, now I want to look at the relationship between segment and region. Segment and what? Region. Look at it too. Segment and what? Region. Is there any relationship between the two of them? Between segment and region. Is there any relationship?
No.
No, is it not? Let's go to the table and look at it. Remember I told you guys, this visual, is it the problem? This visualization, is it the problem?
No.
Is the list of your worry. Your major problem is what? What is the major problem?
And the power query, using the power query and modeling.
If this thing doesn't connect, say the enemies will be at work. So let's say segments. So let me take segments. So these segments. Let me take what now? Region, is it not? Let me take region. Segments. So let me take region. You see what has happened? What has happened? What do you think has happened?
There's duplicates for the segments.
Why?
Because there's no relationship.
Actually, it's connecting it as a relationship, but it's breaking it down. So for this consumer, central, east, southwest, corporate, central, east, southwest. Have you seen that? So for example, if I now go to my orders, I now take sales. Can you see that? Indirectly, there's a relationship now. Can you see that? The reason why there's an indirect relationship is because of this guy. Can you see that? He said if this guy is connected to this guy, and this guy is connected to this guy, that means that somehow this guy is connected to this guy. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
So that is why if I cannot get a direct relationship between these two, that means I can get an indirect relationship between these two. So for example, if these two are the ones that are connected, so this guy can connect to this guy, isn't it? Or let's say a situation where this guy can connect to this guy, but this one cannot connect to this. So which means the only relationship that you can get between these two is the relationship between these two. So there will be like an indirect relationship. So yes, you can actually connect them that way, okay? But it means you are having an indirect relationship. I don't know if that answers you. Otherwise, you'll not be able to do this if you don't have that relationship. Are you clear?
Yes.
Clear? Great, great. So what we have seen now, we have seen how to connect data to different sources. Clear? Are we clear with that? Next thing we have seen is that sometimes your data may be in one place, but you need to break them down and connect them. So we have seen how to reduce your tables, is it not, into smaller tables. We have also seen how to do your data modeling. Clear? Are you clear with that?
Yes.
All right. So the last thing I want us to look at quickly, I don't know, on your canvas, there is a data set there. Let me check your canvas. Canvas. So check whether you see any data called data cleaning also. Data cleaning. There's a data called an Excel file called data cleaning. Data cleaning. Data cleaning.
Yes.
Is the file there?
Yes, it's there.
Data cleaning. All right, good. So let's use that data. Let's use that data. Data cleaning. Good. Data cleaning. Is this the Excel file now? Can you see the Excel file? Have you seen the Excel file now?
Yeah.
Is my screen showing?
Yes.
Okay, good. What can you see on my screen? What can you see on my screen?
The data cleaning Excel sheets with the data cleaning worksheet. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So we are looking at how we can transform from this data and go to something like this. Can you see that?
Okay.
We can go from here to this. So how possible is that? All right. Let's continue. Now you see, in practice, somehow this is how you get data in a very disorganized form. But somehow you must come and do a presentation like this. Is that not true? So we're going to see how can we move from this stage to a report. So let's go to my Power BI. Let's go to my Power BI. So that file, is it an Excel file or a CSV file?
It's Excel.
It's an Excel file. You see, so far we have been working with only Excel files. So next week we'll be working with CSV. Okay, so Excel file. So I click on Excel. So what's the name of the file? What is the name of the file?
Data cleaning.
Data cleaning. Data cleaning. All right. So which file am I working with? Data cleaning, data cleaning. So table 1, table 2. So which one am I working with? Which of the file am I working with now? So dashboard. You said what?
I thought it's data cleaning that we're working with.
Yes, data cleaning, isn't it?
Yes.
So this one, right?
Yes.
So what do I do? Load or transform data?
Transform.
Yeah?
Transform data.
Transform data. So most times, anytime you're working, just forget about that load. Just transform it. Go to transform mode data.
Okay.
Go to what? Transform mode data. Good. Is this data ready for analysis?
It's very dirty.
Yeah, really or dirty?
Missing rows everywhere.
Yeah,
No.
good. Now, how do you know what to clean now? How do you know what to clean?
Well, we see a number of missing rows.
Yeah.
What else? No,
So
nulls. A lot of nulls under customer
no,
name.
it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
Yeah, for analysis, yes.
It depends on, yeah.
Okay, for analysis, yes. Why is that so?
It depends on where we find that null. If it's in the column that we feel it is not necessary, of course we can take it out. But if it's in an important column, we need to fix it.
Good. Null means what? Null means what? Null means what?
No information provided in that.
Yes, empty means what? Empty.
Empty. Yes.
So if it's empty completely in a row or column, is it not? That's different from when you have some missing cells in a row. Okay, so that one must differentiate between missing data from what? Empty rows or empty word columns. Okay, so let's recap. Remember our rules. What are those our rules? What are our rules? Can we recap our rules? So have a proper data structure.
No missing rows or columns.
Let's start from the first one.
One row of header.
One row of header. Do we have a row of header here?
Yes.
Do we have a row of header here?
It's actually 2 rows of header.
Which one's supposed to be our row of header?
Row 1.
Row 1.
Row 1, isn't it? So this is my row 1 supposed to be a header, isn't it? So what do I do? I will say what? Use first. Can you see use first row as header? Can you see that?
Yes.
Use first row as header. Done. What again?
No empty rows.
No empty rows, is it not? No empty rows. Do we have empty rows here?
Yes.
Do we have empty rows here? We have some what empty what rows. So what can we do? What can we do now?
Can remove empty rows.
Can you see remove rows?
Yes.
Mr. Francis.
Yes.
Yeah, what did you say about undoing a step?
Yes, that there's no control Z, rather you just delete. Can you see the steps? Can you see delete? You can delete your last step. Can you see that? Delete your last step. Then you go back. So otherwise I'll come here, use first row as what? Header. Use first row as what? Header. All right, what's the next thing now? So those empty rows, isn't it? So let's look at it. Empty rows. Empty rows. Okay, so I have some empty rows. So what I can do, can you see remove rows? Can you see remove rows?
Yes.
So for example, this is a top row. So I say remove top rows. How many rows do I want to remove on top? How many rows am I removing on top?
One.
One. So I press one there. Click OK. And that guy is gone. Okay. But you notice that I also have some other empty rows. Is it not in between? So they are just like Excel. There are different ways of doing the same thing. Because if I say I want to remove the first three, I may have problem because there's data there. So another way again I can do it, in fact the easiest way to do it, once I click on this, can you see the filter button? I will uncheck the null. I will uncheck what? The null and click OK. Can you see all the null have gone?
Okay.
Have you seen that? All those null, they have gone.
I think
So
that's
now
much
true.
better.
Yes, that is easier. What again? No empty rows. Yes. What again?
No empty columns.
No empty columns. So when you say empty columns, this is complete. So is it not complete? No empty columns. Okay, good. So how do I remove columns? I'll just right click and click what? Remove. Isn't it? But where I have more than one, what do I do? I will click the first one, hold my shift button. Is it not? Click the last one. Right? Right click and what? And what?
Remove columns.
Remove columns. Beautiful. Remove what? Columns. Beautiful. Great, 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 great. Do we still have any missing data, empty rows or empty columns? Okay, we still have another set again. So what do? I click on it. What do I do again?
Click the last one.
So you hold your shift button, click on the last one and what? Remove columns. Clear? Great. All right, no empty, so one row of header, no empty rows, no empty columns. What again? What's the other row?
There are still no values.
They are still null, is it not? Now, but this null, is this missing data or is it empty rows?
Missing data.
These are missing what? Data. Now, how do you deal with missing data?
Imputation.
How do you deal with missing data?
You can use imputation or
you can use what?
Imputation.
When you say imputation, break it down for me.
Using something maybe like a label or
yes, you can fill with a label or what?
The main.
Now, please take notes. How you handle missing data depends on how well you understand your objective and how well you understand what you are trying to achieve. Now, if you look closely to the data, let's look, for example, customer name. Let's look at customer name. Who is this person? Who is this?
Claire Gota, the first person.
1st person.
What is the person's ID?
CG12520.
Now, this one that is known, who is this person?
It's the same person because it's
It's the same person, is it not?
Yes.
Let's look at this. Who is this person?
Rosina Hoffman.
Who is this?
Okay. Tracy.
Now, the moment you understand now, okay, it is not that it's just missing. You know, so for example, in Excel, you want to merge. You go and put two and merge them together, isn't it? Then sometimes when you import the data, it doesn't bring them together. Can you see that? Let me just tell you that, oh, I only understand one cell. That can be a possibility. Or this one, they just left it and say, okay, this person is the same person. So what does that mean? This guy should be this guy. This guy should be this guy, isn't it? This guy should be what? This guy. So what do I do? So what do I need to do? In Excel, if you are doing this in Excel, what we have done in Excel? If you're in Excel, what we have done? If you're in Excel, what we have done? What we have done in Excel? Yes. Since you have seen the pattern now, what we have done?
You can find and replace.
Find and replace. Hey, find and replace is very dangerous. Find and replace what now? Because you have empty now. What are you replacing?
We can't use find.
You know, in Excel, you know you'd have done. Yeah. Is that what?
I said because we need to be replacing with different things.
Yes. So in Excel, you'd have just put equal to this value. Whatever value it is, enter. Isn't it? Equal to enter. Then drag it down. So which means whatever this thing is not saying there, it will pick the initial one. Pick the initial one. Yes, that's what it will do. That's what you'd have done in Excel. And you are going what? Down. But you see, this is not Excel. So this one does not have with what? Equal to. Another thing you should take note of in Power BI. Remember that we say in Excel, Excel works with what? Excel works with what?
Cells.
Cells. Beautiful. SQL works with what? SQL works with what? SQL works with what?
Queries.
Queries. Not necessarily query. Queries at the end of the day, yes. But what does it work with?
Tables.
It works with what?
Tables.
Tables. No, you don't. Now you're working with the full table, yes. But the full table is made up of what?
Columns and rows.
Columns and rows. But which one does SQL mostly what? Emphasize on? Records. Is it not that it work with what? Rows. Excel work with cells. SQL work with what? Rows. Power BI works with what? Columns. It looks at it as what? Columns. He doesn't understand it like this. He understands it like what? Columns. Please take note of that. Which means I am going to be working as what? A column. So what am I going to do? Come to your, let me see. Come to transform, right? Come to transform. Transform. Click on transform. Are you on transform?
Yes.
Good. Can you see fill?
Yes.
Fill. Can you see fill?
Yes.
I want to go down. So I'm feeling what? Down.
Down.
Fill what? Down. And I'm done.
Wow.
So is this like forward fill in Python?
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's Excel. Fill down. Let me come back here. Do you notice the same pattern that happens for all of them?
Yes. Yes.
So that means I can highlight from here to what? Maybe here. This field, maybe this furnishings too. You know, what do? I'll come here, fill down, and I'm done.
Oh, wow.
Can you see that? You see why Power Query makes your life easy, especially when you work with Excel.
Well, Mr. Francis, I want to ask something now.
Yes.
You know, you made mention that if we had done this cleaning in SQL, like for the previous table, maybe this one, if we had done the cleaning in Excel, we won't be wasting time on the Power BI application. But then, is there like a crime cleaning it here? Because so to say, assuming work has been segmented and the guy that is supposed to handle the cleaning on maybe the
exactly. So that's the
not
point.
available. I'm the one responsible for Power BI. They push it to me, and I have to do the cleaning.
Yes. That's why I was telling you that sometimes there are certain things that you already know that will help you. Teach them. Yes. If you don't teach them, you say, I don't have time to teach them. That's their work. You are going to do it. That work that you are running from, you are going to do it for them.
Okay.
Because if you don't understand how to use these tools, right, to make to work very smart, right, you are going to be, in fact, what report that would have taken you 1 hour max, it will take you a whole week, a whole month. Because you have to first of all transform all the nonsense they have done, clean it to a particular form. Then before you can now start your own work. So that's why you see for most analysts, 80 to 90%, they are not doing their analysis. So what are they doing? Cleaning and transformation. This work like this, it's not your own job. This is what somebody must have done. Okay? But now, if, for example, they say, this is how we have been doing it, we don't want to change. Your own prayer is that, your own prayer? If this is how you want to be working, okay, be working like this, but please don't change again. No. You understand that? Don't change again, just remain like this. So once you have seen the problem like this, you don't have to understand the problem. Okay, how can I clean it and do everything? So even after this nonsense they have done, okay, bring it like this. But please be consistent with this nonsense. Do you see your steps here?
Yes.
Can you see these apply steps?
Yes.
It means all the nonsense they have been doing, let them be consistent too. Because if they bring another data, now because you have seen all the steps, you are doing all the steps. Actually, each step is a query you are writing. This is the M language. This is what you are seeing here is what the M language. This is the M language. But you see, Microsoft have made it so easy that you don't need to code. Do you know all these things you have done in Python? You see all these things you have done in Python. But you see, some cases, this is easier to do in Power Query than in Python. It is when Power Query say, I give up, this one pass my power, they go and bring the big hammer, Python, to now kill it. But if it is easier to do it in Power Query, use Power Query. But if it is more than your power, they just go and carry Python, Python. So can you see where to connect to Python here?
Yeah.
You put the Python here, connect to the data, and start doing your cleaning there. Okay? All right. All right, let's quickly go through it. So are we clear with this now?
Yes.
Clear.
Straightforward.
Now, look at another thing again. Continue the rules.
Dates should be.
And before we get to date, let's go to the one we said one row of header, no empty rows, no empty columns. Yes, what again?
No total.
No total. Can we see total here?
Yes.
So how do we remove total? How do we remove the total now?
You can remove the row.
So I just come here. Is it not? Uncheck total. That's all. And I'm done. I'll check on the column side. Is there any total on the column side? No. All right. What again? What again? See another one. See another ADBs. Can you see this? Now, what do you think happened here? What do you think has happened here?
Could it be the data type?
Now, sometimes maybe in an EROP, right? They want to put a particular maybe currency. And maybe they go and in the ERP, they have put the currency there, but they now export it to Excel. But Excel does not understand that font type they are using. So Excel will break the nonsense for you back. Isn't it? So sometimes when you go and type something there and Excel does not understand it, or Power BI does not understand it, it will just put anything it likes for you. So that means you need to also be careful of the column, the content of the column. So in this case, if you're in Excel, how we have cleared this in Excel?
Format.
You format. So what are we formatting
to? Date type.
Is that a date? Are these dates? Are these dates? Yes. Are these dates?
The column name shows that it's dates, but the values not.
This is the date now. Is it not? This is the date, but this is the values. So is this a date? Is this data type? Is it a date?
No.
Actually, no.
It's not. Okay. So it's like maybe revenue, is it, or revenue or cost, right?
It could be sales or profit
Yeah,
or something
like
made,
sales,
made
right?
per
So
year.
let's say sales per year. Good. Sales per year. Beautiful. So if it's sales per year now, so if you're in Excel, how will you have done this? How will you have done this in Excel?
We would have changed that. I would have formatted it to number.
To number. Beautiful. I would have formatted it to number. So whole number, decimal. Which one?
Decimal.
The rest, whole number. No, whole number. Whole number.
Whole number. Okay. So I put on whole number. Bam. NDBs.
I think decimal because it's like calculated column.
All right. So let's put decimal. Enemies. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Go back to your fundamentals. The very first class in Excel. Very first class in Excel.
Okay. This one has a currency.
Okay.
I'm assuming there's a symbol before the number.
So even with currency, can you see this one has currency too? So I can change to currency. The same thing. Go back to your fundamental of Excel. What is the problem? Yes, what's the problem? Do you guys remember the very first class in Excel? I gave you one task to do. What was that problem?
It was removing the currency from separating the currency from.
Yes. So what did you do? You know Power BI is Excel. You know that, right? It's like Excel.
Yes.
It works with the same principle with Excel.
Convert it to numbers.
Convert to what?
Numbers.
I thought we have done that. We have done that already.
As in align it, move it to the right.
Move it to the right. How do we now move it to the right? You are getting there, but what's that fundamental problem? What is the fundamental problem there? Because in practice, this is how you are going to see it. Because when you are picking the data, they come in different forms. So think about the first thing we talked about in Excel. And what was that? Data type. What are the data types you have in Excel? What are the data types you have in Excel? Number. How do you do a number?
So align to the right.
What is the next data type?
Text or strings.
How do you know a text?
To the left.
Look at this one. What is the data type?
It's a text.
What this one, 2060, what is the data type?
It's a number.
Number.
2070, what is the data type?
Number.
Number.
So what does that tell you?
You have to convert that one to number.
I have to convert it to what?
Number.
So how do I convert to a number? How do I convert to a number? Since I know this is a text now, is it not? This number that looks like number, but it's actually a text. So how do I now convert it to a number? So what do I need to do? If you're in Excel, all you have done in Excel.
In Excel, we do Control 1, right?
Control 1 here. That should have formatted now. So this one we have formatted. But this beyond formatting. We have tried all the formatting, it didn't work. So what do you need to do? Yes? Data analyst. Data analyst. What do you need to do? Remember now, since it's a text now, is it not? What am I looking for? I want to remove these values here now, is it not? I want to remove these values, this strange syntax. Is that not what I want to remove? So I'll just delete these numbers out and leave only this word syntax. Replace it with what? Replace with what?
Nothing.
Nothing, and click OK. And that's it. Then I can change it now to what? A number.
Okay.
And we're done.
Sorry, can you repeat the steps? What was the first thing you did?
It was find and replace. Find and replace. I just right click, replace values.
Okay.
Because I don't have these symbols, is it not? Otherwise, I would have typed it there. So I'll just delete these numbers. Is it not? Replace with what? Nothing. So I'll switch it now to what? Whole number. And I'm done. Now, the thing is that, why am I always asking you these questions? I need you to first of all think about it. Of all the tools you have learned, right? Once you see a problem, you should be thinking, okay, is this tool that will solve this problem? Or I've seen this type of problem solved in this thing, okay? And that's because if I'm doing this straight for you, you think that is very easy to do it. But when you are left on your own, It is all those tools, all those skills, all those functions that we have showed you that you now bring together to now solve it. So this is how you actually see a lot of what data coming. All right, are you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Clear? All right, so what's the last thing? So call all the rules now, let us see. So our table is taking shape now, isn't it?
Yes.
So what are the rules now? Let's call them and check.
All the dates must be in single column.
Okay. All what?
All dates must be in a single column.
All dates must be on a single word column. So which means all these ones from 2008 to 2019, they must all be on a single word column. So how do we do that? How will you do that?
We convert them to rows.
How do we convert them to rows?
Transpose or something.
Transpose, beautiful, transpose. So transpose converts what? Row to what? Column. Oh yeah, let us try. Can you see transpose here?
Yeah.
Can you see transpose here? Can you see it here under your transform? Can you see transpose?
Yes.
All right, let's click transpose. Is this what you want? Is this what you want? Remember, the data must follow. It's not just the row and column, it must follow with the data, with these sales values. So is this transpose? Is this transpose? So will this transpose work for you?
No.
No, so it's not true of transpose. Oh yeah, so what is it? We said it yesterday. It is called what? Unpivoting. It's called what? Unpivoting. So what you have, so when you have your data like this, it's called what? Pivot. This is what they call a pivot. Not pivot table in that your normal pivot table. Okay. But in this case, this is what I say, this is a pivoted data. So what we need to do is to what? Unpivot it. So what are we doing? We are going to take all these words, column names, is it not? All these column names here, we'll take it under one column, along with the corresponding words, values. So watch now. So I'll click the first one, hold my shift button, come to the last. Can you see that? Right click and click on what? Can you see what? On pivot columns. Have you seen it here?
Yes.
Have you seen it here?
Yes.
On pivot word columns. Good. On pivot word columns. Now you see attributes. What are attributes? What are attributes?
Those are the dates.
Attributes. What are attributes? In SQL now we talked about it. Attributes. What are they? Attribute is also known as what? Your field name now. And what's your field name?
Dates, yeah.
And what's your field name?
Your column name.
Your column name. So that's what? Dates. Or let's see. Should we call it date or year? Then what is this value? Sales. Are we good to go? So is our data clean now?
Yes.
Is our data clean now? So check it now. All the rules. Check all the rules now. Does it conform? So call the rules now. Let's check. Call the rules now. Let us check.
One row of header.
One row of header. Do we have one row of header here?
Yeah.
Good. What again?
No empty rows.
No empty rows. Good. Do we have any empty rows?
No. No empty columns.
No empty. Do we have any empty columns?
No.
Okay. What again?
No totals.
No totals. Do we have any totals here?
No.
No.
Okay. What again?
No obstruction around the data.
Do we have any obstruction around this data?
No.
All right. What again?
Dates must be in a single column.
Date must be on a single word column. Have we achieved that? So is our data clean now?
Yes.
So if our data is clean, then that means we're good to go. So we'll close and what? Apply. You can go and do our reports now. You can do our reports now. Data what? Cleaning. Now imagine, so this is our category. This is our what? Sales, isn't it? Good. Now you can now start building your what? Visual, your reports. So imagine this was from another table now. That means if I want to connect it now, can you see that? Data clean. Do you see already automatically I connected it for you automatically? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Because the data is so clean and say, I love this guy. So let me follow you. So automatically it just connects. Okay, and life goes on. So we are seeing how to clean data. You say what?
So if it's not clean, it won't connect.
If it's not clean enough, it will not automatically connect it unless you force it and say, you know how you drag a child's ear, come here, come and join this person. So that's how you have to drag it to connect to that table. All right, so are we clear with this now? Are we clear with this now?
Yes.
Good, good, good. So we have seen how to what? Build your normal visual, isn't it? But we'll still do that again. But what's more important is that we now know that we need to connect, take the data from what? Extract the data from different what? Sources. And that's why you needed to learn your SQL. So now we have seen how to what? Run SQL inside Power BI. Okay, inside my SQL, we have run it inside where? Microsoft SQL Server. We have seen that you can also connect it with your Python or R, isn't it not? We have seen you can also connect it to what? The web. Those are the various places we can what? Connect our what? Sources to what? Power BI. Okay. The next thing we have seen is that sometimes when the data is so large, we need to what? Break it down into what? Smaller what? Tables. Okay. But when we break into smaller tables, we need to find a way to what? Connect these tables together. So that led us to what? Data what? Modeling. And the ideal cardinality we want to see is what? A one to what? Many what? Relationship. Okay. Lastly, we have seen that what? Once you have your data, right? Most times, 80 to 90%, the data is never what? Clean. So you need to what? Clean and transform what? That data. Okay, so that's basically what we have done. So when we come next week, what we are going to do, we are going to see how to, I'll show you all when to apply all these visuals. Then we're going to see how to run DAX, how to what, build the DAX model. Okay, those are your DAX measures. We're going to see how to do that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Francis. Before we manage relationships, the moment you close and apply, what was the first thing you did?
Now, you see, the moment you close and apply, once you have cleared it, you will see automatically, will tell you measuring relationship, you see something like that, or linking relationships, it will try to do it automatically for you. If it does not see, just say, I didn't see anybody like that. Then you don't have to go and drag it and force it and say, this is the person I want you to connect to. So if it does not find it automatically for you, you have to connect it manually.
Okay.
Okay.
Next class, right?
Yeah. All right. So any other questions so far? So that visual I asked you guys to prepare yesterday, please try and do it, because for next week we are going a little bit more advanced, because we'll also show you some other, but we are going to go almost through all these visuals next week. So you now know when to apply them. Okay. Then learn this data cleaning very well. Do this data cleaning very well. The other, I'll give you another data set that we will need to also clean. Okay. In fact, that's a vanity manufacturing. So what we do, try and connect my SQL with Power BI, and let us see. If you have downloaded the connector, it will connect for you automatically. But if you haven't if you have not downloaded it, go and download my SQL connector for Power BI. Just type on Google my SQL for Power BI connector. So download it and install it. Then you now try to look for the version that fits your own and install it. So try and connect it. So once you connect it, you try to visualize that value manufacturing database. So let us see.
So Francis, is this data on our canvas?
Which data?
To practice this.
Yes,
this
now
data
this is
you
your
just
pastor data now. Just pastor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One more
this
question.
particular one we clean, there's a data called data cleaning. I think I asked you guys, say you saw it there now. Data cleaning.
Yes.
Yeah, it's there now.
Yes. Mr. Francis, I actually followed this data cleaning step by step as you were doing it. I was actually following it. And the last part where I didn't get, I think our time is fast spent. Is it,
Yes.
does it automatically save up to where I've done it now, so that later,
Yes, now once you are done here, you just save it now. Once you are done, just save it now. Just save it. Okay. Sometimes we tell you that, it will even tell you that you have something that you have not yet uploaded. You want to see the file later. Sometimes we ignore it or we'll just say no, but it will save it for you.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So I think with this, we have come to the end of the session. So please make sure you try to practice what we have done so far. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, sir.